Hello everyone, my name is Waqar Hassan and today we are going to discuss difference between active voice and passive voice. So I will start by definition and I will elaborate few examples to clarify this concept within the matter of minutes. So let's start. What is active voice? When you use an active voice in your sentence, it makes your writing lively. It makes your writing more presentable. It allows you to express your ideas in an energetic style. So active voice is always a preferable style. But there are situations when we prefer to put a sentence in passive voice. So today I will elaborate and explain all those points and I will come up with some examples to prove my explanation and to prove that why active voice is considered more effective and why passive voice is used in our writing. So let's start. Active voice. Whenever uh, we have to highlight the agent in a sentence, we put the sentence in active voice. And what does it mean by having an agent in a sentence? Agent means the person who performs an action, the person who does a job in a sentence. So when agent is important, when the doer of the action is important, we put the sentence in active voice construction. So let's take an example. John has brought a book. In this sentence, John is the agent. John is the one who performs the action. John is the one who brought a book. So I want to highlight John, and whenever we want to highlight agent in a sentence, we put that sentence in active voice. So is the reason I have used active voice construction to make this sentence. John has brought a book. So if your agent is important to you, if you want to highlight your agent, then put your sentence in active voice. And yes, it's more energetic, more lively style to present your arguments, to write down your statements in your writing. The second important use of active voice is when the object is missing. Whenever the object is missing, you put your sentence in active voice construction. Let's take an example. The sun rises. John is swimming. John likes football. Okay. In this sentence, I have placed an object. So we can convert this in passive voice. I have given this example to clearly differentiate between these two kind of constructions. In this construction, I have placed an object. So we can also write this sentence in passive voice, but these two sentences, we cannot write these two sentences in passive voice because they don't have an object. The sun rises, we don't have an object here. John is swimming, we don't have an object here. So whenever we don't have an object, we definitely put the sentence in active voice construction. So these two sentences we will definitely put them in active voice construction. The sun rises, it's an active voice construction. And I have used an active voice construction because I don't have an object. Similarly, John is swimming. I have used active voice construction here because I don't have an object to place in this sentence. So if object is missing, we have to use active voice construction because for passive voice, we need an object. And if object is missing, we can't make a passive voice. So this is the second most important use of active voice. The third use of active voice is when we have to emphasize or we have to show authority in a sentence. We use active voice construction. For example, let's take an example. Scientists recommend taking steps to fight climate change. In this sentence, I want to show the authority of scientists because this is being said by scientists. So when we have to show authority, we have to use active voice construction. In this sentence, I have placed scientists right at the start of the sentence just to emphasize their point of view and to show their authority. When you want to show the authority or when you want to emphasize by showing the authority of the concerned person or of the concerned committee or of the concerned group, you use active voice construction. So this is the third use of active voice. I can revise all these rules for you. We use active voice when we want to highlight the subject or the agent. We use active voice when we don't have an object in a sentence. And we use active voice when we want to show the authority or we want to put emphasis on the point of view. So now let's discuss few examples of passive voice construction. We use passive voice in very few conditions and I will highlight those conditions. The three conditions in which we use passive voice, they have their own importance. We can't say that passive voice construction is kind of negative. No, it's not negative. It has its own purpose. It has its own usage. So we will discuss it with the help of examples. So we use passive voice when the event is important. Yes. For example, if I say the party was organized by the teachers. In this sentence, I have placed the party right at the beginning of the sentence and the agent, I place agent in place of the object. So it's a passive voice construction because I want to highlight the event. For me, event is more important than the organizers. Huh? So whenever you want to highlight the event, you need to use passive voice construction. So whenever you have to use passive voice, make sure that you use it to highlight the event. Second use is when you don't want to show the authority or you want to say something in that way. For example, let's transform this sentence into passive voice. Scientists recommend taking steps to fight climate change. Taking steps to fight climate change is recommended by scientists. So in this sentence, I have placed scientist right at the end of the sentence and I have transformed into a passive voice. I have highlighted the action, taking steps. So when I want to avoid showing the authority of the committee or of the group, I transform the sentence. I can transform the sentence in passive voice. So this is an indirect manner to convey your message, and this is a direct way. Active voice is a kind of a direct way to convey your message, and this is the second use of passive voice that you can use it to hide the authority or to minimize the impact of the authority. And the third use is when the agent is not important for you. For example, the hospital was constructed by a stranger. So I have placed this sentence in passive voice because I don't want to highlight the agent. Agent is no more important. It's not important to me. So whenever agent is not important to you, you can use passive voice and you can place the agent right at the end of the sentence, and you can convert the sentence in passive voice, so you can present the sentence in a better way. So these are the three uses of passive voice. We use passive voice when we need to highlight the event. We use passive voice when we want to hide the authority, and we use passive voice when we don't want to show the subject or the agent of the sentence. So these are the three uses of passive voice, and these are the three uses of active voice. So I hope you people have now developed a very clear idea where to use active voice and where to use passive voice. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.